Georgia, starting with you, it's great to have you back. I feel like you've always done quite well competing around here.
Yeah, I played not too bad the last couple of individual events here, and I really enjoyed the golf course. It's always in really good condition. The wind can get up quite a lot, which I don't mind. But yeah, it's just a really enjoyable place to be, and yeah, I love playing here.
When the wind does get up, do you feel like you enjoy that more? Does it almost give you a bit more of an advantage when the wind gets up, do you feel?
I think so, because I feel quite comfortable playing in the wind. I think I'm used to it a little bit more than other players, but I like moving the golf ball around, hitting low shots quite a lot. So I don't mind it. I think it will be fairly windy this week, but I've been out there this morning and the course is in good condition again, and the green's not too far, so I think they'll be able to hold when you hit it on them.
And Anna, of course, great to have you back as well. Royal Greens, it's always a course that players do seem to enjoy coming and competing on.
Yeah, I love coming here. This is my third time now, and we've had quite a few rounds around this track, but this is probably as good as I've ever seen the golf course. It's very lush out there, and today was probably as windy as I've ever seen it. So it's going to definitely be a challenge, and definitely like playing this early in the year, this being probably one of the first couple of events for most girls. Usually when it's played in November, you had quite a few months with tournament play behind you and kind of maybe a little bit more awareness where the ball's going and stuff. So I think that's just going to add an extra challenge this year, just feeling a little bit rusty in tournament play. But excited to be here, and everything is really good about this tournament.
From an LET point of view, it's now the fact that this is taking place as the second event of the season here in March. Is it almost quite nice to see on the LET an event of this kind of standing really quite early in the season?
Definitely. I think it sets the tone for the rest of the events to, just how the tournaments are run. I've been enjoying playing in all the Aramco events, the team series, and some of them's been run better than some of the majors, so it's been a very treat. And I know there's a lot of great tournaments been added to the Ladies European Tour schedule this year, so I'm excited to go play a few. And I know a lot of the girls, they have, I think, about a 5-week stretch coming up, and after kind of seeing past a lot of the COVID, and it's just nice to see that there's a good schedule coming up and a lot of playing opportunities.
And Georgia, just on what Anna touched on at the start there, a lot of the players that we do speak to tend to say that these Aramco, these golf back Saudi events, they do have that feeling of almost feeling like a major or certainly a big event when you come to them. As someone that plays around the world and a lot of big events, do you feel the same?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of the headline events for the LET, and rightly so. I think the setup is really good, not too short distance-wise. We get looked after incredibly well, and we just really enjoy coming here. That's why we keep coming back.
I think it's a record-breaking LET season with $30 million up for grabs across the season. How does that feel for players that play in various tours to see that in the LET? How does that feel from a player's perspective, Georgia?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Exactly what the LET needs. Definitely wasn't like that when I was on the LET, 5-6 years ago. But I'm really happy for the girls, and that's why you get LPGA players coming over, because we want to compete in these events and play on this tour.
Okay, fantastic. We'll now open the floor for a question. If anyone's got a question, feel free to raise your hand. Again, anyone that might be on the call that's got a question, just raise your hand.
He asks you, being a Golf Saudi ambassador, what does that mean to you, and growing the game here and working closely in growing the game and making it possible for the Saudi youth girls?
It obviously means a lot for me. Growing up, I was fortunate to have a lot of good role models in sports, in my family. And I think it's always been important to have someone to look up to, and to have someone, show you that things are possible. I never thought a couple years later that I'd be sitting in a position where I'd be able to maybe influence one or two people along the way, doing what I love. And I actually seen, walking off the 18th tee box today, I seen a quote which I think sums up why I'm so fortunate to do this. It was from Joanna, 16 years old, and I'm actually going to read it. The quote goes, "I have a desire to study in the USA or England at a top university. Hopefully these opportunities can help pave a path for my future and make my dreams come true." And I think that sums up what I think this is all about, giving women opportunities to chase their dreams, to believe in themselves. It might not be in sports, but in other areas of their life. I think both me and Jordan, we've been very fortunate to live our dreams all over the world, playing places that probably never thought I would ever visit. So I'm just very proud to be able to be an influence for people.
The Saudi women now are picking up golf thanks to some work and initiatives done by Golf Saudi and the Saudi Golf Federation. How do you encourage them, and what would you like to say to them to get into golf, and would you do that?
Well, I think the initiative that Golf Saudi had starting out, with the first tournament here 2 years ago, the ladies' first initiative, where they gave away, don't quote me on this, but what was it, like 1,500 memberships? I thought that was huge. I didn't grow up in a golf club where there was many females, and I know it's very hard. I actually started golf when I was 10. I quit about 2 months later because I didn't enjoy it, and there wasn't many other girls that I could relate to, and then I picked it up three years later. So I know golf might be a sport where you need to be surrounded by some friends or women in particular to kind of share the experience with compared to other sports. So just seeing that, I think it's been huge, and also coming here and meeting some of the young girls here, and it's nice to see kind of like some of the COVID restrictions lifted and see this place a little bit more, and more people out and about, like on the beach walk and around the hotel, and there was a few more people coming out last year. So it's been great to kind of pick up and just meet like young girls and ladies.
Is there any advice you'd give to Saudi women and girls who are thinking about playing golf?
I started when I was 7 years old, and I just really enjoyed trying to make contact with the golf ball and try and hit it as hard as I could. So that's the advice I would give to start off. Just, have a lot of fun with it. And golf can be a lot of fun as well, especially if you're going with your friends, and you can make loads of little different games up. So I think number one is just to have fun and see where you are with it, because everyone's different when they take up the game. Some find it easier than others. But yeah, I think just have fun.
What would you say to spectators who are thinking about maybe coming along this weekend to watch the golf? What would you say to bring them here?
I think it's a fantastic opportunity just to obviously watch women's golf. There's so much talent in Europe. There's so many good girls, and they're so young now. I mean, I'm old at 34. But it's a cool experience, and I think a lot of people might never been to a golf tournament in person, and I think it'll be quite a different experience. Like it's pretty cool seeing it up front. But I know Aramco and Golf Saudi, they do so much things for the spectators, and they have this little village with a lot of fun stuff going on. So even if you don't go out on the golf course, I think it's definitely worth a visit there.
Yeah, and I think on the Friday of the tournament, they've got a ladies' day as well for any women wanting to come along for free golf lessons and stuff as well.
Jeddah is always, changing in terms of weather. They're expecting a lot of wind in the first few days, and then maybe it will be normal in the last couple of days. So how did you prepare for that, and based on your previous experience and this experience, upcoming experience?
Yeah, like Anna mentioned earlier, it's the windiest we've seen it, especially today and yesterday. Definitely challenging with the wind. I've heard it's supposed to get quite warm on the weekend, so maybe a little less wind, I imagine. But in the mornings here, it tends to be fairly calm, even though it's not like that at the moment, and it gets a lot windier in the afternoon. So I think definitely, today and tomorrow prepare for, a lot of wind. Maybe change ball flight quite a lot. But I think most important thing, just stay patient out there, as it's going to be a long round and some long days out there, and maybe mentally a little bit more tough, but I think it would be a lot of fun.
One last question from me just before you go. The press conference before, we had Maha, Lina and Ines all together, 3 Moroccan players, 3 Arabic players. How great is that from you guys' perspective to see this kind of diversity in the field?
I think that's what's so great about the Ladies European Tour. There's players from all over the world. Some girl from Australia, and even you see even players coming over from the US to compete, and also them playing all over the world. We play in Saudi, Dubai. They were just in Kenya a couple weeks ago, going to South Africa, and then to Thailand. So I think the diversity and everything about the Ladies European Tour, I think it's a place where a lot of people feel like home. And it's a very, very friendly atmosphere, and that's why I enjoy about coming back to playing on the Ladies European Tour. And I have been playing a little bit more, and it's just because I like the atmosphere, and it's a nice change of pace to the LPGA Tour.
Okay, if we've got no more questions in the room, I think we're all good. So Anna, Georgia, thank you very much.